Minutes in support of his amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My amendment's pretty straightforward. It prohibits the president from declaring a moratorium on the use of hydraulic fracturing or fracking unless Congress authorizes the moratorium. The amendment also expresses the sense of Congress that states should maintain the primacy for regulation of fracking for oil and natural gas production on state and private lands. The Biden administration has wasted no time in undermining American energy production. They have also wasted no time in eliminating good-paying jobs and stripping states of billions of dollars in royalties generated from oil and gas production. The gentlelady from Michigan talked about the fear of not having energy. Well, she should support this amendment. By signing executive orders that prohibit the issuance of new oil and gas leases on federal land, the president is signaling that he will use any means necessary to eliminate the fossil fuel production in the United States. We hear a lot about the folks that are a lower income. I can tell you that the elimination of fossil fuel production will dramatically affect those in the lower income bracket, as they will pay a higher percentage of their discretionary income for energy as they see energy cost skyrocket. When asked in the Democrat presidential primary in July of 2019 if there would be any place for fossil fuels, including coal and fracking, in a Biden administration, the president responded, and I'm quoting now President Biden directly, "No, we would work it out. We would make sure it is eliminated." This amendment is responding to what the president has threatened. He has already made good on his promise to revoke Keystone XL permit and halt all new federal oil and gas lease sales. That will affect the energy prices, and as I mentioned, it will affect the discretionary monies for lower income families. This is not the time to be messing with energy policy, and this amendment serves as a preventative measure to protect our economy as we work to recover from the COVID-19 pandemic. Instead of prioritizing American jobs and energy, President Biden would rather appease the far radical environmental left, whose logic is backwards. They would rather make us weaker and reliant on energy from foreign adversaries with negligent environmental standards. According to a recent study, placing a moratorium on fracking would mean a $900 billion increase in U.S. household energy costs, $7.1 trillion in potential losses to the U.S. economy through 2030, and over 7 million fewer U.S. jobs by 2022, a time when we need to be growing the economy and putting folks back to work. On average, a fracking ban will increase household energy costs by $618 per year. This includes higher costs for gasoline, transportation fuels, residential natural gas for heating, electricity, and heating oil. Many of the things that Ms. Dingell mentioned having a fear of losing earlier. How in good conscience can we allow this to happen? This would drastically hurt people who suffer the most economically from COVID-19. As a result of the work of the Trump administration and innovation in the private sector, the United States is the #1 producer of oil and gas in the world. By banning fracking, the U.S. will quickly shift from energy self-sufficiency to reliance on imports from countries who quite literally have blood on their hands. Energy demand is not decreasing. As the economy begins to reopen, demand will rise. It is simple, supply and demand. Let's let Americans control the supplies. As we seek to recover from the economic devastation of COVID-19 pandemic, it is imperative we prioritize protecting American jobs and our national security. As Admiral Mike Mullen has said, there is no national security without energy security. By prohibiting the president from banning fracking, we in turn safeguard our energy production, national security, and the livelihoods of thousands of Americans. If President Biden wants to back up his Buy America rhetoric, let's start with buying American energy. Let's put America first. With that, I urge the adoption of my amendment, and I yield back the balance of my time.